This is the Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar. The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris ahead of the blades for effortless shaving in one efficient stroke.
So obviously you guys are a game plan offense, have been for a long time. Specific to yesterday, what made running so much out of 11 personnel kind of in your best interest against the Steelers?
Well, that was our main formation group all the way along. So running or passing, it was that was the primary group. We felt that was the best way for us to match up with them. There's a number of reasons. There's a combination of things, but yeah, nearly all the game was in that grouping. There were multiple combinations, but 11 personnel was the main group for sure.
And then Dietrich plays over 80% of your defensive snaps for a second straight week. Obviously, it's just 2 games, but how impressive is that for a defensive lineman, particularly with some of these longer drives, to play that type of number?
Yeah, Wise has really done a good job for us. Got off to a great start in the game, made a couple big stops early. Did a good job with a very mobile quarterback back there with Trubisky. So I think he's given us a lot of high quality snaps, both run and pass, and a high number of snaps. Works really hard on his conditioning in practice. He does a lot of either extra running or a lot of running during every play, finishing plays, chasing the ball downfield, things like that. So he's in good condition and is playing well for us.
Thanks, Bill.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Next question, Chris Ryan, and I'll ask others to raise your hand if you have a question for Coach Belichick.
Morning, Bill. How are you?
Hey, Chris.
Just on the Nelson Aguilar catch, from a technical standpoint, what did he do right there that allowed him to have success? Is that something that you can coach, or is that just kind of a innate ability there to make that play technically?
Well, we talk from a coaching standpoint about going up and getting the ball at the high point, and there are going to be some 50-50 balls like that. We had one last week that we lost to Tyreek Hill. Had one this week that we made there on Witherspoon. So Nelly did a great job of going up and getting his hands on the ball and then kind of ripping it down and pulling it away. So you give him all the credit in the world on that one. That was a tough catch, and as you said, a 50-50 ball, and it came down in our favor. But he timed it well and went up and fought for it strong, kept his balance, and went into the end zone. It was a huge play in the game and a great individual effort on his part.
And just in terms of playmaking on the defensive side of the football, having watched the film, what stood out to you about that group collectively and their ability to make plays, particularly in creating turnovers?
You talking about our defense?
Yes, your defense.
Yeah. Well, we had the interception on the play action kind of pop pass there. Mac made an outstanding play of dropping to his left to the outside, and then planting and coming back and reacting very quickly to get his hands on the ball to Mills, and then had our hands on a couple other balls. That was a close play where Mills got the ball out on Johnson that Uche returned, but he was ruled down. So we'll just keep working to get the ball out as much as we can. And we had our couple last week that got the ball out, but it was out of bounds, or we were out of bounds, or whatever. It was right there by the sideline. But we just got to keep emphasizing to get pressure on the ball, and hopefully we'll get some that we'll be able to take advantage of.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Next question, Alex Barnes, followed by Nick O'Malley.
Yeah, good morning, Bill.
Hey, Alex.
So I know you talked yesterday after the game about the 2 big 3 and outs late, but they started 7 for 9 on third down, finished 1 of 6. Haven't watched the game back. What changed in your mind for you guys defensively, where the third downs kind of shifted there in the second half?
Well, I want to say 3 of the third downs were 3rd and 1s. So they converted those. A couple of them were close. One, I think Harris hit for about 5 yards, so that wasn't close. And then they converted a 3rd and 10 and a 3rd and 17 right at the sticks, and both throws are outside, good throws, and obviously the rush and the coverage wasn't tight enough in those situations. So, I think for the most part we gave up the. I believe the touchdown was on 3rd down too, wasn't it? So that was another 3rd down conversion that we just didn't execute well enough. So look, again, Pittsburgh, give them credit. I mean, they have very good receivers. They have a great back. They got good tight end, and they got good skill players. Pickens and Johnson and Claypool, Freiermuth, Najee Harris. I mean, as a group, that's a pretty good group. We got some, they got some, but the short yardage is always skew the 3rd down conversions. Not always, but usually, because those are close to 85% conversions league wide or whatever it is. It's a pretty high number. So, a lot of the 3rd down relates to 2nd down and 1st down, and so doing a better job there will help you on 3rd down. But obviously, we got to convert on 3rd and 10 and 3rd and 17. That was we just got to do a better job there all the way around, coaching, playing, awareness, and so forth. It was kind of the 3rd down story.
Thanks.
Yep, you're welcome.
Next question, Nick O'Malley, followed by Andrew Callahan.
Hey, Bill, I want to ask about the fumble play you mentioned earlier, or the overturned fumble play, the Jalen Mills punch out. Are you happy with the way that was officiated, with the officials letting it play out, even though it ultimately got overturned? And have you gotten communication from officials in whether they're letting those sorts of close plays run more, just so they don't wipe out potential returns like that?
Yeah, again, I think that's probably a question that would be better directed to the officiating department. But yeah, again, my general understanding on that is that they prefer to let those plays play out, and then knowing that they're going to be reviewed. We had one in preseason. I think it was in the first preseason game against the Giants where the ball was out. We scooped it up and they ruled it down. And again, for the same, that then we had to challenge the play and for the recovery and all that. So I think generally the philosophy is if the play is going to be reviewed, let it play out and then review it. Whether that's right or wrong, it's not really my call. It's for the other people to decide. But I think that is generally the philosophy. But it doesn't always play out that way. I think that in the end, the official's got to call what he sees on the field. But if it's a true 50-50 call, I guess that's the way it would go.
Thanks, Bill.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Next question, Andrew Callahan, followed by Kieran Berigi.
Hey, Bill, speaking of that Giants preseason game, I remember asking you about zero play action passes and indicated the way the Giants were playing, which was a high blitz game, that was kind of something you had to adjust to. The play action rate's been pretty low through 2 games. I know each of them are individually their own entity, but is there a risk, generally speaking, of running more play action against defenses that will blitz a lot more, given obviously that involves the quarterback turning his back to those blitzes?
Well, I mean, if a team's blitzing, I don't know how much the play action really affects the defense. The guys that are blitzing are going to blitz, and generally speaking, depending on the exact nature of the play, but generally speaking, backs are still involved in protection. So if there's any kind of blitz, there's no fake anyway. The back would just have to go pick up his blitz protection assignment. Otherwise, that guy's going to come free. So there's really no fake. There's really no fake anyway in a situation like that. And the quarterback knows that, right? So once the quarterback sees that the back isn't faking, he knows that instinctively, he knows that just fundamentally that the back has had to leave the fake and go to his blitz assignment. So the quarterback knows that somebody forced him to do that, and there's pressure coming. So I think if you're going to get a lot of blitz, and I'm not sure what the effect of the play action really is, unless you're trying to bootleg and get outside or something like that. It's a little bit same in man coverage. How much real effect are you going to get in man coverage? They have their guys anyway. Sometimes you can sneak a tight end or another player out against man coverage when they're playing the run. But I'm not saying they're bad plays. I'm just saying that's kind of what you're weighing is how much extra pull are you going to get from the fake versus what are you going to give up in your protection assignments, and how aggressive do you want to be with your line, faking the run when you got guys that are blitzing and penetrating upfield that you have to pass block. So that's a decision you have to make.
And then a couple of your players, I think Jacoby mentioned the way that the Steelers were kind of diving down over the middle to cut some of those deeper crossing routes, and you guys made adjustments. Minka Fitzpatrick talked about playing a lot of too high. I mean, obviously they did a little bit of both. Did you see more one or the other as the game went on?
Well, it started out as a quarters kind of game, more quarters, and then they went to some man-to-man coverage, and they kind of went back to the quarters, and then at the end in the last drive, that was basically all man-to-man when they were trying to get the ball back. So third down, they mixed it up as they usually do on the shorter distances between man and zone, and the longer distances, they're zone longer yardage calls where they drop the safeties inside. So they do a good job mixing it up, and they played a couple different fronts against us. They had their nickel front, but then they had a different nickel front, a little different personnel group, and then in their other nickel, they played Hayward some outside at defensive end, which we hadn't seen that. I think that was after Watt. That was probably an adjustment for him after Watt got hurt, and then in passing situations. Then they went with the two outside linebackers and just played the two defensive linemen inside, which is kind of their, I would say, higher percentage call with Watt, but without Watt, they kind of went to two different packages on that. So, that's the way the game played out. Coverage-wise, it was a little more split safety than what they had shown last week against Cincinnati, for sure, yes.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Two final questions, Karen Gregan and Zach Cox.
Good morning, Bill.
Hi, Karen.
I'm just wondering how you thought Cole Strange fared in the game against Cam Hayward, and just in general, did you see some improvement from the offensive line?
Well, again, Hayward played defensive end a decent part of the game. I don't know what the exact numbers were on that, but certainly more than he did in the past, and more than he did against Cincinnati when they were in their three-down lineman nickel. He played the defensive end of the tight end side, and they flipped 56 back to the weak side. He did play inside some. There were some matchups in there. Certainly it was a good test for Cole to go against a player of that quality. I thought we were competitive. Hayward could have, he was disruptive, but I've certainly seen it worse. So we'll probably take it. Less disruptive than he was against Cincinnati a week ago, that's for sure. So that was a good thing. Generally speaking, our pass protection again was pretty good. Width of the pocket was good. Depth of the pocket was good. We had a couple plays where we got edged, had a holding penalty, had a couple hits on the quarterback. But overall, I'd say the pocket was pretty clean.
Thank you, Bill.
You're welcome.
And last question, Zach Cox.
Morning, Bill. With Ty being out, I feel like Damian and Romagna were able to pick up that slack on third downs and some other passing situations, especially in terms of blitz pickup.
Right. Well, I think Ty played most all the third downs last week against Miami, except for maybe one or two, and the 2-minute. So right, Damian and Mondre did a real nice job stepping in those situations yesterday. We got good third down conversion from from Andre on the it was 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7 on sub run, and but again, Pittsburgh did, they have a couple different looks on that they mixed up there. I thought overall those guys handled it well, and we missed Ty, but both of those players have some experience in the passing game. They're both good. They can handle the ball, so we were able to use them and still maintain some of the all the protections that we'd usually use in those situations. We didn't have to modify anything yesterday, so that was good. And when they did come, I thought that both backs stepped up and blocked the linebackers pretty competitively, so that was good too. Thank you.